Welcome. So if you're a regular to the channel or even take a quick look at the comments sections of some 1984 lore videos, you'll often see comments comparing the real contemporary UK with the world of the novel. So I thought it would be an interesting video to compare certain aspects of the lore with today's UK. In this video, we'll take a look at telescreens and surveillance in general. So to work out if the UK is like Airstrip 1, George Orwell's dystopian version of Britain, we'll need an understanding of telescreens themselves. For a deeper dive, have a listen to the channel's dedicated video on the subject. However, here a shorter explanation suffices. Telescreens are two-way devices used by the party to continually record and broadcast state news and propaganda. Winston Smith, the protagonist of the novel, explains that telescreens are always switched on and placed in important and common locations, such as a party member's home, workplaces like the ministry buildings, and in public places like canteens and squares, as well as in communal places, such as where the daily 2 Minutes Hate is held. A telescreen can only be turned down and never off, which immediately gives us a key difference with our world. It's important, however, to stress that the telescreen as is, that is, as a blatant and known spying device, obviously doesn't exist in Britain now, though some smart TVs can certainly record someone, and the ubiquitous smartphone has a front and rear camera, which it is possible for hackers to turn on, off, and to record you. Even if this is all far-fetched and your household devices aren't recording you, there is an estimated 21 million CCTV devices in operation in the UK that serve the same purpose. In real-world London, the setting of 1984, there are around 1 million in use. Of course, I would be remiss in not adding here that unlike the party in the novel, these are most likely used for security purposes, rather than as dedicated spy devices. The estimated 1 million cameras in London, for example, are mostly private sector owned rather than state controlled. In Orwells London, it's accurate to say that a party comrade could easily be tracked almost in real time through use of telescreens, but also through microphones and informants. Winston Smith, for example, was told later on during his time in state custody that he had been watched for 7 years. Every one of his actions, every one of his words, and even slight facial changes had all been noted and their implications worked out. Is this kind of close surveillance possible in the real world? Sadly, it is. While speculation on my part, however, the good news is that, unlike Winston, most individuals of Orwells London are likely simply not important, or rather interesting enough, to merit such close surveillance. Winston is a person of interest and a party member. It's important to stress too that telescreens in the novel are a party-specific hazard. The party, however, makes up just 15% of Oceania's and therefore Britain's population. Proles, that is, the 85% of the remaining population, are not subject to the same treatment as they are deemed relatively harmless by the state. In terms of pure mechanics, or the question of whether real-world governments could track their own Winston or person of interest, then yes, of course this is possible, and perhaps even a routine and regular thing. It's no secret that there are terror watch lists, for example, and any police force worth their salt will keep potentially dangerous people under close watch. While your smartphone may not be secretly recording you brewing your third cup of tea today, it certainly can be used to track your location in real time. The aforementioned millions of cameras too can be accessed and used to track you visually, and the state can easily watch any individual of interest and potentially capture them at will. In the UK, we do have a television programme named Hunted on Channel 4, which demonstrates this quite well. The programme's concept is precisely this. Contestants are tasked with running and hiding, their goal to avoid the hunters for a set time. The hunters are retired professionals and use all of the paraphernalia you're probably imagining right now, and some captures are very fast. In this TV show, we get an eerie look into exactly how these professional hunters think and use resources to track and capture fugitives, with the hunters sometimes even accurately predicting a fugitive's movements, likely destinations, and how they'll act generally based on information gathering about them. For example, talking to friends and family members, or even watching them, as well as through heavy scouring of social media. Cameras, obvious routes of travel, and other methods are used with stark efficiency in tracking down and capturing most of these mock fugitives. The point then is that if they can do this for a TV show, it begs the question of how much more effective they are with the full power and resources of the state behind them. Of course, the very fact alone that the real government of the UK could and does similarly track individuals does not necessarily mean that they are 1984-like, though it's exciting to let our imaginations fly into scenarios of Winston-like surveillance. In truth, what is more likely is that the real similarity between the party and the government of the UK is that most individuals are simply not that interesting to them. I, you, and most people are probably more proles than Winstons in this regard. While some smart TVs could resemble telescreens and smartphones can act as such, the fact is that no dedicated and mandatory telescreen exists in the non-fictional UK. Even if it was technologically feasible, it's also highly likely that such a policy of blatant surveillance as we see in the novel, simply for the sake of eliminating perceived threats, would be currently politically impossible. So now it's your turn. Is the UK of our world like George Orwell's 1984? Are the telescreens and surveillance in the mould of Airstrip 1 closer than we think? Let us all know in the comments section, and if you enjoyed the video, then drop a like to help Big Brother YouTube know not to unperson the channel. And remember, Big Brother is watching you.